Hello and welcome to episode 28 of the She.Must.Knit podcast. My name is Erin and thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you guys had a great week. I've had another really nice week. I had a productive week this week, which was nice because the last two haven't been as productive as I've mentioned previously. Not much has been going around here with us. Avery had her second skating lesson yesterday and she's still really enjoying it, so that makes me really happy because she was kind of hesitant about starting that one. So what did I do this week? I got a fair bit of knitting done. I have not started any new projects. I'm trying not to because I have lots that I'm working on. I don't know about you, but with my Ravelry page, I get a little bit of anxiety if I have too many boxes with the WIP label on them sitting there at the top, and my first row is almost full. So I need to finish some stuff. But I feel like I did a good amount of work on some of the projects that you've seen before, so I'm going to show those to you. What else do I have? I have the holiday collection. I am so excited with how this turned out. I think it's really, really cute. I love all the fabrics. I love the yarn. I can't wait to show that to you at the end. So I'm just going to take a quick sip of my tea like usual. I've got my mug here, and I think today we have another Seven Sisters tea in golden caramel candy, I think. This one's not bad. I like it better than the marzipan from last week, but the kettle corn from the week before is still, that one was really good. So I've got golden caramel candy, and hopefully that will help me with the throat. I still have my cough. When I get sick, my cough, I get, like I mentioned before, I get asthma when I get sick, and my cough just does not go away. It's so stubborn and it's so frustrating. Anyway, so before I get to the knitting, I just want to go over two admin type things. The first is the winner of the September coupon. So every month, whenever you make a comment on any of my videos or you make a purchase in my website, each item or each comment goes towards an entry for a $20 coupon. So I wanted to announce the winner for September, and that winner is N. Moyer. And I know you comment often. It was a YouTube comment, so I hope you are watching, and give me a just send me a message through Ravelry or through the contact page on my website, and we will set that up. The other thing that I want to mention is that I have a new cal starting in the Bling Your String group on Ravelry. It just started, and I've done this one every year for the last couple of years. It is the Season of Gifting PAL, which stands for Project Along, because it's basically anything that you make. It does not have to be knit or crochet. It does not have to be a fiber craft. If you make something with your two hands and the necessary materials, you can enter it in this this project along. So it can be baking, it can be, you know, crafting, or like any kind of like paper crafting, or like beading, or, you know, whatever. I don't care. As soap making. If you make something as a gift, you can enter it in this cal, and it goes all the way to the end of December. So now is the time to be working on your Christmas presents, because we know it takes time, right? And you got like this huge list of things that you gotta make. I know I do. I'm already thinking about what I need to make, and yeah, we gotta get started on that. So be sure, if you are making any of your Christmas gifts, to hop over to the Bling Your String group and join the little project along. So now for the knitting. I'm going to show you first the progress that I've made on my Tweety Brother socks. Last week I had a fair bit of the foot done. I think I was almost to where I would start the heel, and that is what I have done since. I've got the foot done, and then I've popped in the heel, and now I am working up the leg. So this is around where I was last week, and I've added about that much, which isn't too bad. I'm doing the body of the sock with Dyed by Lindsay yarn in a BFL base. She doesn't give her yarn colors, but I thought this was just a really nice mix of like man colors. And then I had this yarn left over from my Desert Vista Dye Works challenge September socks in the Zom Dinos color, and the colors were just, they kind of pulled out some of the colors that were in the variegated here, and I just thought it might be fun to add a little stripy toe, and that's what I did, and I think they look really cute. I think my brother will like these. I've also decided that I think I'm just going to do the whole rest of the leg in this yarn here, and this yarn will only be on the toes. When I went over my monthly goals last episode, I was saying how one of the goals was just to finish the first sock of this pair, and I'm pretty confident that I'll get the first sock done. Usually once I finish the heel, and this is a German short row heel, I'm really enjoying those lately. Once I get to the leg of a sock, I find it just zooms by, even though it's the same. I tend to do them the same, around the same length as the foot, and for some reason it feels like it goes by so much faster than the foot. So I'm pretty confident that I will get the first sock done, and maybe even the second sock started by the end of this month. So that's my progress on those. Next, I've been working on my Little Miss Margo, and this is the garment that I am currently working on for Avery. She got me some lovely pink yarn for my birthday, and I've decided to use it to make her kind of a transitional garment, a kind of poncho to wear over just as the weather gets cooler. The weather is pretty much, we are in fall mode right now. The weather is getting brisk in the mornings. Sometimes it does warm up in the afternoon, but generally speaking, it's pretty cool. So I wanted to make her, this is just a tangled mess. Oh my goodness, I should have organized this beforehand, but I think I've got it sorted out now. So I want to finish this as soon as I can so that she can actually get some use out of it before it gets too cold and she needs a full-on jacket every day, like all day. So last time I showed it to you, I had got to the top of the front, and I just had to start doing the neck shaping, and there's some short rows on the shoulders to kind of slope them to naturally fit, because it kind of just falls off the shoulders. And so I've done that. I added in the shoulders. You can see here, this is where the short row shaping happens, up in here, so that it just kind of falls off the shoulders in a really nice natural way. I really like how that looked. It was very simple, and I've got the front done. And I mentioned before how this was a really enjoyable, easy pattern. Like even when that 1 week that I was really, really sick, I could still work on this and I could still keep track of the rows without having to refer to the pattern. And I had put this down for just over a week, and I was like, oh, am I going to have to like read through the pattern again to figure out how to do these stitches? Nope, I was able to pick this right back up and remember how to do these stitches. They look like they're really, well, not really fancy cables, but they look like they're cables. They are not. They just consist of slip stitches and yarn overs. So it is just, it's very easy to get into this pattern. I'm really, really enjoying it. And you can also see from the yarn that this is kind of a gradient yarn, which is another reason why I chose this pattern, because I didn't want that gradient to get broken up into different pieces, and because this is just basically a front and a back, and then you pick up along the side to do some ribbing, add some buttons, the gradient would be maintained, and I thought it would look really nice. So I got the front done, and then I cast on for the back, and this is how much I've got done on the back, and this was mainly done over like a day and a half. This is a really quick pattern, and I've mentioned, I think the first time I showed this project, I did mention that I had to fiddle with the gauge a little bit because the pattern calls for more of a chunky yarn, and this is a worsted yarn, and I wasn't sure if I was going to, how I was going to adjust it to make this yarn work, and I don't think I ever went into complete detail on how I had decided to do that. So what I'm basically doing is, Avery is almost 7 years old, and instead of following the size that would work for her, so like a 6-7-year-old size, I am following the largest size of the pattern, which I think is like an 11-12, but with smaller needles and the thinner yarn. And when I did a quick gauge calculation based on the gauge that came on the ball band of this yarn, and like kind of referenced that to the stitch count, that's the size that kind of worked out for her chest size. Now, I'm not too concerned. Like if this was something for me, I'd probably do a gauge swatch and do a little bit more calculations, but because it's for a child and because it's basically just a boxy garment, I'm not too worried about the fit, because if anything, I can add more ribbing on the sides or something, but I'm really not worried, because it's kind of a boxy shape, and it's just meant to be a layering piece, so the fit is not as crucial. So that's what I've done to kind of adjust the sizing, because I am using a different yarn. I think I'm using 4.5 needles, maybe 5mm needles, and I think the original pattern was like 6mm or 8mm or something like that. So smaller needles, thinner yarn, but I am following the biggest size, and I am really enjoying this pattern. I think once I'm all done, if I get some knitting time before Avery gets home, I think I'm going to work on this again, because it's just so quick. And what I was going to say is that if you are actually following this pattern with the appropriate yarn that the pattern calls for, like a thick, chunky, bulky yarn, this you could probably do in no time. Like, it would zoom by, because I'm already finding it to be a quick pattern with a thinner yarn, and if I was using a thicker yarn, it would zoom. I'm really, really enjoying this pattern. And I also mentioned the first time that I showed it that I was considering getting, like, lining it. So just to make it, because you can see there's, with the stitch pattern in the middle, I don't know, can you see me? Hello, hello. It's a bit airy, and so I was considering, just to make it a little bit warmer, that I was going to do a lining on it, just to kind of cut, like, for the wind going through it, just to kind of stop that a little bit. I have not found a lining fabric. I should have done that when I was at Fabricland last week looking for the coordinating fabrics for the holiday collection. Didn't cross my mind, but I'm at that fabric store so often, so I can pick another one, or I could go through my stash and see if I had something. But that's my plan with that. I'm really going to try and get that back piece done this coming week. That would be lovely, so that I can basically, I don't think the ribbing will take very long. And if I do a lining, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to do, that I don't think will take very long, because it is such a simple, like, square type shape. It's going to be very easy just to cut out a piece of fabric. And if I use fleece, which doesn't fray, I don't even have to worry about the edges. I can literally just cut out the shape I need and, like, stitch it in and done. So I would love to have that done for you next week. I might try and do that, because I want her to start wearing this. So that is that. And then, if I do finish this before the next episode, I might start a new project, even though I said I shouldn't probably be starting new projects, but whatever. I know I'm going to have, like, this is still how much I have of the first ball. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to finish that back piece with this, and I might have to go into the second ball. She got me 2 balls. I might have to go into the second one for the ribbing. But these are giant, and so I'm going to have a fair bit left. And I had said that if I had yarn left from this, that I would start on her new winter set. I want to make her a new cowl and a new hat, all fleece lined, because I find them so warm when you do that. So if I finish my Little Miss Margo before the next episode, and I have time to cast on either the cowl or the hat, I might do that. You might see that next week. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm really happy with my progress on that, and I'm going to try really, really, really hard to get that done. And then the next project that I have, I talked about this a little bit last week when I was discussing my goals for October, and I had said that one of my goals was going to be to work on my Girona top, and I wasn't sure at the time if I should just set it aside for the new year and not worry about it, because I've got holiday projects and I've got all these things that I'm trying to work on, or if I would try and finish it for the end of the year. So I had decided that I would just try and work on it, because if I can finish it by the end of the year, then that is one less unfinished project in my pile for the end of the year, and one of my bingo goals is to have less than 5 of those by the end of the year, so I really don't want to be adding to that pile. I worked on my Girona top this week. I realized what was kind of hanging me up over getting progress on it was I was at the point in the lace panel. I think I have my little swatch here because it's just easier to show this. So I had done a little swatch just to see if I liked how the lace panel worked in this yarn. And the last time I showed this project to you, I had finished the front. And if you remember, there was a whole bunch of stuff with the front. I had to alter all these things. I had to alter a whole bunch of, I brought so much trouble onto myself with this project, like by my own doing, because I am like changing so many things, like with the yarn and just the way the pattern is and blah, blah, blah. But I had done this little swatch to see if I liked the lace panel in this yarn, if it would block out nicely, if it would drape nicely, and it does. But the last time I showed you the part of the back that I had started, I think I was about here in the lace panel. So I had done the easier part of the lace panel, and then I was at the part then with the chart that required a little bit more concentration. So I kind of put that aside because I don't always have knitting time where I can concentrate. A lot of my knitting time is better for projects where I can just knit without thinking. So this had kind of been put aside. So I had a little bit of that kind of knitting time this week where I didn't have anyone around. I didn't have anyone bother me. Dennis had a lot of soccer this week, so he was out in the evenings. So I had a lot of time to myself, and I decided to bring out the Girona top and try and get past that part of the chart that was hanging me up and like where I needed to concentrate and where I was just kind of like, oh, I don't want to work on that. It's too much work. So I did. So here is the back part, and so that is about where I was last time I showed it to you, and this is how much I've added. So I have finished the lace panel there, and I am in the section now where it is just knitting. So now I can pick this up whenever I want and just knit, knit, knit on it. The only thing I have to concentrate on is, if we can find my little markers. So you see all my little markers here. So the only thing I have to concentrate now on is increasing where on my front panel I decreased. I had gone over this a little bit, how when I was doing my front panel, so this is all done, and for some reason this color makes the whole screen go yellow. Like, I don't know what it is about it. So just ignore that for a minute. But when I was doing this piece, I did all these decreases along the side in an attempt to do some shaping. And when I've kind of held this up to me and was trying on for fit and stuff, I figured that I probably didn't need to do that. I think I would have liked it better if I had just done straight, no decreases, no shaping along that side there. So what I've decided to do with the back is to try and compensate for that. I am adding increases in the exact same spots on the back where I put decreases on the front, to kind of like a little puzzle piece, like, you know, one side's going like this and the other side's, you know, going like this. And I'm hoping it will just add a little bit of extra room right where I don't want it to be tight, because it's right around my my bottom hip area, and I don't want it to be tight there. I want it to kind of flow over that area. So I went through the back and I counted the rows where I did those decreases, and on the exact same rows on the back now I am doing increases, and I'm hoping, we'll see, I'm hoping that will work. And so other than keeping track of where those increases are, I am now where I am just straight on knitting. So I have found that I have been picking this up in the evenings because I can just knit on it and not think about it. And it would be lovely if I could actually finish that by the end of the year and not have to worry about it carrying over into the next year. And then I probably wouldn't layer it. Like, I'm not one to wear short sleeve garments over long sleeve garments to layer, but I do tend to run warm, and I could see maybe with a t-shirt underneath or something like that, I might still be able to wear it in the cooler weather. We'll see, but I would really like to get that done too. So yes, that is all the knitting that I did this week. I'm pretty pleased with the progress that I've made on everything. I'm hoping for some finished objects coming up, especially Little Miss Margo. That would be lovely. And yeah, if I could get the hat and cowl cast on, because the hat that I want to do is really, really cute. I'm not going to say what the pattern is, just in case I can't cast it on, but I'm hoping I can because it's really, really cute. So the next thing we have is my holiday collection. But before I get to that, I noticed something this week, and I just wanted to ask you guys, have you guys been doing the Ravelry project challenge this year? Let me know down below if you have, because if you don't know about it, if you go to your project page on Ravelry and look at the tabs along the top, in the very right corner there's one that says challenge. And I noticed this way back in January and clicked on it because I was like, I was curious. And basically what you could do is you would set yourself a goal for how many projects you wanted to complete over the year. And then every time you complete one and you go to that page, it gives you a percentage and it tells you, how many you've done and blah, blah, blah. So I had forgotten that I had done that over the last couple of months, and I just noticed it this week. And so I clicked on it, and my goal for the year was to do 40 projects. Last year when I counted how many projects I completed in the year, I had completed around 36 or 35 or 36 projects. So for this year, I decided I wanted to try and just do a little more than that, and my goal was 40. I'm at like 37 projects right now. I forget what percentage it gave me. It was like, I don't know, 87 or 90% or something like that. But I only have like 3 more projects, and I've completed my fun challenge. I mean, it's just your own personal challenge, but I just thought that was cool. Did any of you kind of put in a number for this year? And are you almost there? Did you meet it? Let me know. I'm curious. I just find stuff like that fun. So anyway, now that I've gone over that, let's get to the holiday collection. I know a lot of you are really, really excited about this, and I'm excited to show you because I have been working on it for about 3 weeks now, and yeah, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. Now, you've seen the fabrics because I did show those to you. I used 3 different fabrics. So let's start. Of course, it would have been nice if I had like pre-organized everything into groups, wouldn't it have been? But oh well. Okay, I think that's all of that one. So we're going to start with Winter Woods. So this was the one with the charcoal background with all the little foresty animals, and I got 2 sidekicks out of this print. So I was able to do one with a contrast bottom, and this is the interior for both of them, I think. So that there, and then I was able to do one with just that print on the whole bag. So I've got 2 sidekicks in Winter Woods, and then I also have a needle cozy. And that has disappeared. Here it is. I was able to do a little needle cozy in the Winter Woods print, so I've got that as well. And then the next print, let's do Home for the Holidays. So this was the one with the vintage cars all loaded up with gifts and trees and stuff like that. A lot of you really like this one. So I have 2 wee sidekicks in this one, both with a contrast bottom. So I have 2 wee sidekicks, and I'm pretty sure they have the same interior. Let me check. Yes, they have the same interior. So that's the interior. There's some stripes, and so I have 2 wee sidekicks with the vintage cars there. And then I also got a regular pouch, and yeah, so that's no contrast bottom, but oh, and that's the interior for that one. So that's that print. And then I got this print. I showed, I think 2 episodes ago, I had found this in my fabric stash and just thought this was adorable. And this was a bigger piece, so that I got a fair number of bags done in this one. So this one, I don't have a name for this one yet, but look at all the little doors. I was reading them after last week's episode. They all say different things. Like this one says haughty and naughty. And then there's one that says Bah Humbug that has like no decorations on it. Where's that one? Where's Bah Humbug? Oh, this one says like leave gifts at the door, and then get your jollies. And then there's one that says Bah Humbug. Where's Bah Humbug? Ah, this one here. Here you go. See right there, it says Bah Humbug. And it's got like no decorations on it. Anyway, so this one is really, really cute as well. And I got 1 sidekick. And then I got 2 wee sidekicks. So one has the stripes going this way on the bottom, one has the stripes going this way at the bottom. And the interiors of these is this print here. So I have 2 wee sidekicks. And then I have a Bitty Buddy, which is my drawstring, my little sock drawstring. It's the perfect size for socks. I've got 1 of those. And then I also have 1 of my regular pouches in this print as well. So lots of holiday bags. And then finally I have the yarn, and For the yarn, I just wanted to kind of pull out some of the colors from the different prints. This is definitely not a traditional Christmas color scheme, but that's okay with me because I'm not really drawn to like your very traditional red, green, and white colors. So it doesn't look Christmassy, but I think I still like it. It pulls on, especially with this print here with all the different colored lights. Just think of it as like Christmas lights. So the background that I did is like a gray background with, let's see if I can find a good one. Here we go. I did a gray background with some tonal areas. Or you can see there, you can kind of see some tonal aqua areas. So there's some aquas, pops in there. And then there's an area of all these bright, fun, speckly colors for all the fun colors that you find around the holiday season. Here you can see two that are skeined up, so the kind of soft gray with the aqua tonal background, and then all those fun pops of color. And then I was able to do, so I have 3 of the 100-gram skeins in the soft sock. And then I have 1 sock set. So I was able to do 1 sock set with a little aqua kind of turquoise mini. And that's the yarn. So let me know what you think of the holiday collection. I really like it. Let me know what you think. I hope you really like it because you guys all seem very excited about the holiday collection. And then we're back to voting on some new fabrics. We haven't been able to do this in a little while. I went through my stash and I tried to pull out some that I thought were very fall-like, and just because, you know, that is the season, we are in October now. I don't know how that happened, but we are in October, and I just thought it would be nice to do not necessarily like straight on fall bags, but just something that had that kind of feeling. And I found this one, which was really, really cute. So it's got all these little squirrels and acorns and little hearts, but if you look, I think the color scheme is actually really, really pretty because it's got the purple and then kind of this burnt orangey brown, and then it's got a little bit of turquoise and a little bit of a mustard yellow. I think in a yarn that could be a very interesting combination. So we have squirrels as your first choice, and then I'm bringing back one from a vote many weeks, months, I don't remember, ago. This was one that lost out to whatever the other choice was, and I'm bringing this back because I thought this kind of had some nice fall colors. So these are like the little woodland creatures. Again, and I think the aquas and the browns and the oranges and the grays would make kind of a nice fall themed yarn. So that is your second choice, woodland creatures. So woodland creatures or squirrels, let me know below, and we'll see what comes out of that and what kind of collection I am making next week. So yes, I hope you enjoyed the episode this week. I got lots of knitting done, and I hope to get lots more done this coming weekend. It is the long weekend. It is Thanksgiving weekend for us here. I think we're just going to be kind of taking it easy, but I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you're in Canada, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, and I will see you next week.